Dr. Nebu Koshy, did I get that right?
Yes.
You are a hematologist and oncologist at Shreveport's Feist-Weiller Cancer Center. What specifically do you do? Bone marrow transplants? Tell me about this.
Yes, a hematologist, oncologist treats patients with blood disorders and cancers, is what oncologists treat.
Right.
My main specialization is a subspecialty of hematology oncology, which is bone marrow transplant.
Because of the reputation of the Feist-Weiller Center, I would imagine patients from all over the region, if not America. How is this a prevalent disease?
Every year, thousands of people get diagnosed with these deadly diseases, which is leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. And we are the only center in North Louisiana and in a 200-mile radius treating patients with acute leukemia and bone marrow transplant.
Let me ask you this, Doc. You're having a Celebration of Life event. It's the second annual.
Yes.
It's this Friday night at East Ridge. Tell us a little bit about this event, why it's so important, because these funds help those families so much.
So Celebration of Life event is an event which started doing since last year. This is mainly to raise funds for patients who need transportation and lodging assistance during the transplant process. Because many of these patients who undergo transplant have to stay locally for 2 to 3 months after transplant, and this becomes a huge burden on the patient and the family to stay here locally. So this fund helps support that cause.
Tell me a little bit about the kinds of things that we're going to have at this event. Obviously, you're going to have auction items and some other things that you do.
This is a celebration of the lives of patients whom we have treated at our facility. You know, our transplant program has been there for the last 28 years. So we have treated so many patients. We have survivors who go back up to 20 years. And so there are patients who will be coming to this event who will be sharing their experience, their journey with their disease and the transplant process. It's a celebration of their lives. And our goal is to spread awareness in the community and the region about the services we provide through this program.
How much do you hope to raise?
So last year we raised close to $20,000. So this year we hope to raise more. We have support from some pharmaceutical companies, but we really need local support so that, in terms of assistance.
How much more complex is finding a bone marrow donor?
So it's the same thing. The blood transplant or a bone marrow transplant means the same, because we are collecting the bone marrow or the stem cells. We are collecting the stem cells from the bone marrow, which we are using for the transplant. These stem cells are the cells which makes the blood cells. So we are trying to collect the stem cells from the blood. It's the tissue type. It's like any other organ transplant, like a liver or a kidney transplant, the tissue type is what matters. Our first choice is always a matched sibling, because siblings have a better chance of being a match. So we look for a sibling first. So if we have a matched sibling, then that's the first choice. If we don't have a matched sibling donor, then we go for an unrelated donor, and that is usually through a registry.
How do they do the test?
So the test is very simple. It can be a simple blood test or a swab from the mouth, because we are looking at those markers present on the surface of cells, which would tell us the tissue type. It's a simple buccal swab, or it could be a simple blood test.
Bone marrow donors. If I decide, I want to be on the list if my marrow matches somebody.
Yes.
How do I do that?
There's a non-profit organization in this country called the National Marrow Donor Program, and through that there is an entity called Be the Match. So Be the Match is the place where you have to go. So you just have to go bethematch.org.
Okay.
You go to the website and volunteer yourself to be a donor.
How invasive, intrusive is that?
It's just contacting that organization and saying that you want to volunteer to be a donor, and they will send you the kit. And you just have to do a swab and send it back.
You do it yourself?
Yes.
If I go down this 3132 here to the blood center,
yes,
I have this vision that they have, like, in the refrigerator, shelves and shelves of different types of blood. Do they do bone marrow the same way? Can you take it and keep it, or does it have to be...
So they don't collect... So if you volunteer to be a donor, they are not going to collect your bone marrow right away. They are going to do it only when it's needed for a particular patient. So your name will... Your tissue type information will be there in the registry. Only when there is a patient... For example, a patient is in Australia and that patient matches with your tissue type, the NMDP will contact you at that point to come forward and donate your bone marrow. And it's a painless procedure. Now you can collect stem cells directly from the blood. That's why it's called blood and marrow transplant. It's a painless procedure.
And the Friday event, tell us again the details about when, where, and how I get a ticket.
You just have to go to the Feist-Weiller Cancer Center website. It's www.feistweiler.org/celebration. If you just go to the Feist-Weiller website right now, so you can get access to this event. And this event is held on Friday, July 14th at 6:30 p.m. at East Ridge Country Club. It's open for general public. You just go and buy the ticket and support the cause.